My name is Michael Mira. I am privileged to be the Executive Director of the Tacoma Housing Authority. I'm standing at our new Arlington Drive campus for homeless youth and young adults. Tacoma Housing Authority and its partners just opened it. In normal times, I would be welcoming you to a party to celebrate. As it is, I'm pleased to welcome you to this virtual grand opening. In this short video, you will hear from the community leaders and partners that made this possible. They will tell you about Arlington Drive's Crisis Residential Center for homeless youth ages 12 to 17 years old. Community Youth Services, our service partner, will be providing the services they will need. It is one of the nation's premier providers doing that hard work. It has a service model that has a 91% rate of success in discharging these youngsters to safe and stable housing after an average 12-day stay. At that rate, this 12-bed crisis residential center will serve and save over 300 of these youth a year. You will also learn about Arlington Drive Apartments, a 58-unit apartment building of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments to house homeless young adults ages 18 to 24. About 30% of them will be parents of babies and toddlers. At any one time, that apartment building will house about 130 people. They will need services as well, and we are lucky here with our service partner in the Social Impact Center of the YMCA of Greater Seattle. It will provide these young adults with what they need to embark on a reset, independent life. And when they leave Arlington, they will take a Tacoma Housing Authority housing voucher with them to give them a head start. Most importantly, you will hear from some of the young people who have just moved into Arlington Drive. They will have come from homelessness, from the streets, and from circumstances that nobody should have to experience, especially as the price of their youth. They will come because their parents asked them to leave home, or they will come because they have made the plausible judgment that the streets are safer than home. Arlington Drive will give them a second chance at an adolescence, a second chance at an adulthood, a second chance at an education, an occupation, a family, and a second chance at a life without fear. Arlington Drive will serve youth not only from Pierce County, but from surrounding counties throughout Western Washington and even beyond. It'll do that in 2 ways. First, it'll serve Pierce County youth and keep them at home so they don't have to go to other counties seeking services. And it will take in and has taken in youth from other counties who can't find what they need at home. In this way, Arlington Drive is a regional asset. Arlington Drive campus for homeless youth and young adults is an unusual undertaking for a housing authority. It taught us a lot. How do you house people who need services that we don't provide, don't know how to provide, and don't want to learn? And the answer is you do this with first-rate service partners we are fortunate to have in Community Youth Services and the Social Impact Center of the YMCA. That distilled and clarified what our job is. Our job is to provide the land, to assemble the financing to get it built, to provide the real estate development expertise and the construction management expertise to build it, the property management expertise to run it as a property, the rental subsidy to give it an operating stream, and what might be the most important contribution of all, because these young people have not yet learned to expect it from other places, which is a warm welcome.
Well, what made me come to the Arlington is I did become a single mom, trying to look for a safe haven for me and my daughter, where we could be safe and have a safe zone because of what relationship we were in with her father was not safe. And so what Arlington does for us, not only giving us that safe haven, is knowing that at the end of the day, we do have a roof over our head.
Before Arlington, I was in a program called Reach Center, and I was doing online classes in Reach Center, and I used to slack in high school, so I was in Reach Center to get caught up with schoolwork, and I wanted to get my GED. So I took action to that and put myself in the Reach Center program. And I found out later on that they could help me with lots of other things, such as getting my own apartment for young teen adults. And when they told me about that, I was really excited about that and really looking forward to getting into these appointments and things I need to get to. And so I was real patient with this. And my caseworker who I was working with was Jordan from Reach Center, and she's been a great help to me. I really have came a long way from where I was and where I'm at now. And before Arlington, I was on I'm one of those good guys that have the trouble come to me. I'm not a troublemaker. And for me to get put into my own apartment, I think it's great because it moved me from the environment that I was in and put me somewhere where I can work on myself and don't have to worry about a lot of things that's going on around me.
I am so excited for Arlington Drive to begin providing its full suite of services to the youth from our community who deserve a foundation of stability and support. The grand opening we are celebrating is the culmination of a lot of years of hard work on behalf of this entire community. Tacoma Housing Authority's goal for Arlington Drive is to provide homeless youth and young adults with a second chance at a reasonable adolescence, a second chance at a reasonable adulthood, and a second chance at life without exploitation, impoverishment, and fear. Perhaps most importantly, this campus will offer them what they do not get or feel from too many other places, a warm and safe welcome. With community partners, THA turned a piece of land that was vacant for a long time into something valuable, not just for the youth it will serve, but for the whole community. And I am so proud that the City of Tacoma was a partner in supporting this effort. The intentional design and the beauty of the campus will hold up the dignity and promote the healing of those who will live here. The campus model of wraparound services will provide the wide range of needs to those experiencing homelessness. The building says to our youth and young adults, we believe in you. And when people believe in you, it is possible to believe in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, you can accomplish anything. I hope it provides a stable environment for young people to become all that they desire and all that they are meant to be, for themselves and for some of the children who will live with them at Arlington Drive. We are the city of destiny, and this is an opportunity for every youth and young adult to fulfill theirs.
So first of all, our youth are our future, right? That's absolutely key. And you see that around, it's really a truism in Pierce County. When you look at all the school buildings we're building now throughout the county, our community wants to invest in their youth and in their future, knowing it's our future too. And in this case, this is investing in some youth who've had some real challenges, right? They've had backgrounds and experiences that none of us would want for any of our youth. But sadly, we live in a world where that happens. So in this case, we're saying, if you need us, we're gonna step up and provide this amazing facility that's gonna help you be safe, secure, get your life back on track, and get you moving toward a much brighter future.
Hey everybody, Derek Kilmer here, proud representative for Washington's 6th Congressional District. Though I wish we could all be together in person for this incredible occasion, I'm really glad we can still gather safely to celebrate the grand opening of the Arlington Drive campus for homeless youth and young adults. This is not simply a celebration of critical housing units and services for people with real need. No, this is a celebration of hope. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs once wrote that there is a difference between optimism and hope. Optimism, he wrote, is a passive virtue. It is the belief that things will get better. In contrast, he wrote, hope is an active virtue. It is the belief that together we can make things better. This investment gives me hope. And I want to start by recognizing the powerhouse teams at Tacoma Housing Authority, Community Youth Services, and the YMCA for recognizing that together they could make things better, coming together to deliver on such an urgent community need. Your work is a testament to the power of coalition building that we do so well here in Pierce County. The work you are doing is transforming and saving the lives of our region's youth and young adults. It's providing hope. Look, we know the facts. hundreds of Pierce County youth and young adults without families are homeless. And this ongoing pandemic has laid bare the persistent inequities across our society, including the fact that people of color are drastically and disparately overrepresented in our populations experiencing homelessness. This underscores the urgency of the problem our society faces and calls on all of us to take swift and bold and substantial action. That's exactly what we have today. The creation of a space where our youth and young adults can have stable housing and an environment where they can live without fear. A home where they can receive vital behavioral health services to mitigate the impacts of trauma and mental illness. There's a saying that young people are 1/3 of our population and 100% of our future. When we invest in young people, when we make sure no young person is left behind, when we make sure we value every young person, we enable them to be who they are, talented, brave, and full of hope and potential, and we make our future brighter. It's my commitment as your congressman to fight tooth and nail to ensure that your organizations can continue to build on this incredible work. That's why I worked on the House Appropriations Committee this year to secure nearly $200 billion in additional funding for housing programs to help address the needs of our community's low-income renters and people experiencing homelessness, especially in the midst of this pandemic. It's why we're fighting for a COVID relief package that meets the housing needs of people experiencing homelessness and to keep millions of Americans housed. It's why I fought for passage of the Moving Forward Act, a bill that invests over $100 billion in our nation's affordable housing infrastructure to create or to preserve nearly 2 million affordable homes, helping to reduce housing inequality, to create jobs, and to stimulate our economy. Folks, I'm committed to seeing Congress pass these efforts into law, and I'm inspired and emboldened by the work that you all do. And I won't back down until we deliver for our friends and neighbors who have needed help for far too long. So thank you. Thank you again for having me on this celebration and for providing hope for our community. Don't ever hesitate to reach out if I can be of any assistance. Take care, stay safe, and keep up the incredible work. Thanks, everybody.
My interest in Arlington Drive came about really just because of all the work that the Tacoma Housing Authority was doing around youth homelessness and the way that Arlington Drive would help address youth homelessness. For me, as a member of the LGBTQ community, I know that young people in my community face homelessness at much higher rates than other young people do. And it was really important to me that we start to address it in Tacoma and Pierce County.
Our true north has and continues to be the elimination of homelessness for the next generation. I mean, it's an audacious goal. And we know from the last empirical numbers that we've had around this issue, that we have over 1,000 people who fit the description for housing needs. Those persons are youth and young adults. And so the Arlington Drive has an ability to provide services to 70 of those folks, 58 in the residential and 12 in the crisis unit. And so that's been our goal. Arlington Drive is a part of that goal. We know that there's a lot of need in our community, but this will, the whole issue of Arlington Drive, just looking at Arlington Drive, just driving by Arlington Drive, gives us hope. Gives us hope, gives us a vision, gives us the ability to know that if we tackle this issue very aggressively, we can get outcomes like Arlington Drive.
Well, in terms of the legislature, this project fits perfectly within that, in that we have developed a strong agenda to address youth homelessness, not only in terms of facilities and housing, but also programs that could aid them to get up and out of poverty and to get into stable housing in the future. So I see this Arlington project as a perfect model for what we're trying to achieve across the state. It was the inspiration for me to get additional millions of dollars this last legislative session for other homeless youth projects across the state, including Yakima, Spokane, Skagit, Bellingham, and my own district in the 43rd district in the University District. So to me, it was a great model that I could point to as a great success of pulling people together in the community to support this kind of effort and to make sure that it was a perfect example of what we can do working together.
One of the longstanding challenges we've had here in Pierce County is for a long time, we had actually no beds, none for homeless youth at all in this county. And it was devastating to our young people and to families. So it means a lot to me, just the fact that we're getting beds, but we're getting them in, as always, an innovative way. And that's what the Housing Authority does. And that's why I've been so proud to push for state funding for the campus.
My hope for this project is that the young people that are being housed in the project actually go on to live, productive, fruitful lives in the future. But also, more importantly, to stand up and advocate for the cause of helping people that are in need, who are homeless, who need our compassion, and specifically to advocate to the legislature about why it's so important to save people and to get them housing and support services and education and jobs for the benefit of not only themselves, but the entire society. I feel very strongly about this because housing should be a fundamental human right. And so that's their first purpose: stabilize themselves, get a job, help the community, but then advocate for the notion that having a home is a fundamental human right.
Well, I go a long ways back with my connection to Tacoma Housing Authority. I have been so excited about the innovative approaches that Tacoma Housing Authority has invented and utilized to reduce homelessness in our community. They've always been at the forefront of those conversations. And often when the conversations begin to break down and people start to look around the table to say, who's going to do this? Who's going to really take responsibility for this? On many, many occasions, Tacoma Housing Authority has been that entity, and particularly Michael Mira, as its director, has been the entity that has stepped up and said, we can do this. So a lot of people can do process. They can sit around a table and they can talk about how to solve a problem. And then there are people that say, show me where you want the ditch to be dug. I've got the shovel in hand and I'm ready to go. And so that's really the pivotal leadership role that Tacoma Housing Authority has proven time and time again, that they are willing to pick up the shovel and do the work. So I have long been a fan of Tacoma Housing Authority and its many, many initiatives to end homelessness. This particular project is extremely exciting. I co-chaired a little task force for a few years addressing issues relating to the trauma and challenges that young people are facing and the growing number of young people that were on the streets of Tacoma, and trying to identify, again, who's going to take responsibility? What are we going to do? This isn't acceptable. We owe ourselves and our futures the commitment that we have to show towards helping young people to find their pathway. Because it's true then and it's true now that everyone needs help from time to time. And young people at a very vulnerable point in their lives really need the assistance of caring people. And with that, it's a big challenge to build housing units. It's a big challenge to create programs that are going to be responding to what is now a growing need for these services in our community. But again, THA didn't say, oh, the task is too big, I can't possibly take this on. Instead, the agency and its board have really tackled the problem, and what a beautiful outcome in the Arlington Drive campus. What was the edge of a forest at the intersection of a couple of mean streets, they have crafted a beautiful campus, a safe campus, and a campus where professionals and volunteers and vendors alike are all committed to helping young people. So whether it's the beds for very young children, 12 years of age, you can imagine the needs that they have, but the fact is we need to have those safe harbors, those safe landing spaces for those kids. And then, how do we help young people transition into what is going to be the rest of their lives? And that additional kind of soft handoff, if you will, being in a safe place where they can learn new skills, be around other people that are facing similar challenges, gaining the confidence and the jobs they need to support themselves as they move on to the rest of their lives. So it's an exciting time. My role in the legislature is I chair the Human Services Reentry and Rehabilitation Committee, and we're focused on helping young people thrive. And this project fits right up that alley.
I am honored to take part in the celebration of the successful opening of the Arlington Drive campus for homeless youth and young adults in Tacoma. And I regret that I cannot join you all in person to celebrate the grand opening, but please know this is a momentous day. Throughout my time in the South Sound, I've been, brutally aware of the hundreds of Pierce County youth and young adults who are without family and are experiencing homelessness. These young people face high risk of violence and drug abuse and trafficking, and they live in constant fear of what comes next. And the pandemic has only worsened that. The crisis was in large part the impetus for my laser focus on housing policy throughout my time in DC. Our youth experiencing homelessness, they deserve a second chance. And as I always say, that starts with a pillow, a blanket, and a roof. Arlington Drive Youth Campus serves as that second chance. So I want to commend and to thank Tacoma Housing Authority and the YMCA for coming together and uniting in their vision of a safe place and getting this project across the finish line. Your passion for serving our community and creating a safe and decent place to call home for all our neighbors has empowered me throughout my time representing Washington's 10th Congressional District. I am so grateful for your wisdom, and I look forward to the opportunities to continue working together in my next role as Lieutenant Governor of Washington State. I applaud the successful opening of the Arlington Drive Youth Campus. This gives us all hope for a future where every young adult in our community has somewhere safe to stay.
I'm Derek Harris, the CEO for Community Youth Services, also known as CYS. CYS believes in strengthening our communities by empowering youth and families to create their own success. The Arlington campus aligns with our mission to provide a continuum of individualized services and advocacy to youth and their families to promote their goals of safety, stability, belonging, and success. CYS has worked for 50 years to overcome barriers in participant service needs, to fill gaps and create a continuum of care for South Sound's most vulnerable young people. The Arlington campus for youth and young adults includes the Community Youth Services New Directions Crisis Residential and Hope Center, and has been an incredible partnership between CYS, the Tacoma Housing Authority, and the YMCA Social Impact Center. Since 2016, CYS has been operating a CRC Hope Center at a THO-owned property, and have recently started services in our new facility starting in just last July. The new center can serve 300 to 400 youth ages 12 through 17 with emergency short-term shelter. Since July, the program has already served 50 participants for over 423 bed nights of care. That's 423 bed nights of care that young people were in a safe place, sleeping in a comfortable bed, and had caring adults working with them on their needs. Really, speaking of need, annually in Washington State, there are at least 40,000 young people that have housing instability of some form. At any given time, there's an estimated 13,000 that are literally homeless in a shelter or unsheltered and without a safe and stable place to call home. Many have run from dysfunctional and sometimes violent homes, been kicked out for their gender identity or sexual orientation, or separated from their family due to poverty, drug addiction, and alcohol addiction, or mental health issues. Youth of color and those that identify as LGBTQ+ are at greater risk of homelessness or housing instability. National research indicates that up to 40% of all homeless youth identify as LGBTQ+. Many youth experiencing homelessness after exiting a public system such as foster care, juvenile justice, or substance abuse or mental health treatment facility. Also, economic instability contributes to youth homelessness. A family's financial situation can put stable housing out of reach. Lack of affordable housing, unemployment, and jobs that do not pay enough are some of the barriers to housing for some of our families. A federal study found that 5 key factors increased a risk for youth experiencing homelessness. The youth was a parent, the youth received housing assistance in a prior year, they're a person of color, or they've had 4 or more congregate foster care placements, or have had 4 or more school moves in the prior 3 years. But there are solutions, and the Arlington campus is one of those. It ensures youth have a safety net and a safe and stable place to go, as our shelter is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We help to help the young people to find stable housing. We identify the families in crisis, and we help to keep the youth in their homes. Using family reunification services, connecting youth with relatives, or helping youth to find a new foster home. Currently, over 92% of youth entering the New Directions program have a safe transition from that program. We support youth experiencing homelessness staying in or engaging with their education to improve education and employment outcomes in their own community, and we work directly with schools, teachers, and provide transportation to those schools when needed. We also help to create healthy connections. Youth have opportunities to establish positive and healthy relationships with adults. We increase social and emotional well-being. Youth have access to behavioral and physical health care, and we have services to nurture each youth's individual strengths and abilities. And we create an ongoing aftercare plan for each young person that we serve. We help youth to stay in their community, connected to their local resources, families, friends, schools, and culture. Preventing and ending youth and young adult homelessness means building a system of care that will include multiple right doors when young people are in need. The campus at Arlington focuses on the specific needs of young people needing emergency shelter and safe transitions to permanency, which in many instances will prevent long-term homelessness, as well as housing solutions for young adults that are transitioning into adulthood. When you look at the OHY goals of prevention, emergency response, long-term housing, and support services, the Arlington campus for youth and young adults aligns perfectly with these objectives. We're proud to be part of this best practice and leading edge collaboration, and we look forward in serving many, many young people in Pierce County. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Fisher. I am the program director for the youth center known as New Directions that's connected with Arlington Youth Campus. I have been an employee of Community Youth Services since 2017 and the director of New Directions for 2.5 years now. Pierce County has had a history of youth experiencing crisis and homelessness at high rates due to some form of trauma. Those youth are exposed to a greater abuse and neglect than compared to their stable house peers. These youth come from unstable house environments, have a social economic disadvantage, involve themselves in risky behaviors such as drug use, gang involvement, and sexual activities. New Directions has been servicing Pierce County youth since around 2016, initially with a 6-bed capacity. Today, New Directions is able to serve youth between the ages of 12 to 17 years with a 12-bed capacity. And this is a CRC stay with 15 days or a Hope stay up to 30 days. New Directions is a crisis residential center that services systems youth and self-referred youth from all walks of life, with the focus on marginalized populations such as youth of color and LGBTQ youth. New Directions is in operation 24 hours a day, and when the youth are in our care, they are provided with food, shelter, educational services, mental health services, health care, case management. They involve themselves in pro-social activities, and they also are provided with service plans. Over the last 4 years, New Directions has served hundreds and hundreds of youth in Pierce County and all around, and now we have the opportunity to serve even more youth with this amazing new facility.
As the president and CEO of the YMCA of Greater Seattle, I feel a deep responsibility to all youth in need in our community. The Arlington Drive campus is a key aspect of the solution to ensure the health and safety of our community's young people. Our partnership with Tacoma Housing ensures that young adults at risk of becoming homeless can have stable housing with a large network of supports to surround and lift them up. We are so proud to work as part of this collective of partners to reduce the number of youth in crisis in our community and to give young adults in need a next chance and a warm and safe, welcoming home.
Greetings, Michael Mira and everyone. I am Joel Odimba, the Regional Administrator for the Department of Children, Youth and Families, Region 5, serving Pierce and Kitsap counties. Our mission is to protect children and strengthen families so they flourish. We partner with caregivers, tribes, and a range of community partners to ensure that kids and families in the system are taken care of and are provided for. There's a lot of needs in the child welfare system and also everywhere in our communities. Housing is one of such needs. Housing insecurity in general remains a big challenge for some families in the child welfare system, but we cannot overemphasize the importance of placing a high priority on addressing youth homelessness and providing housing that can benefit all youth, including youth that are transitioning from foster care and also could prevent them from entering into the foster care system or any other system. By providing housing to young people, we are enhancing their capacity and ability to be safe, nurtured, stable, and have a powerful and great future. It also conveys a strong message to our young people that we love them, that we care about them, that we're going to make sure that everything that they need is provided for. So this day is a big day for young people everywhere, and in particular those young people who are at risk of homelessness or are experiencing homelessness right now or are transitioning soon from foster care and need housing. So congratulations and thank you.
We have been able to do all this only because of the full-throated support of the community, the city, the county, the state, and in particular Tacoma's East Side, which has fully embraced Arlington Drive in a way that we would not have expected in any other neighborhood. So this is not only an occasion to celebrate the grand opening of this ambitious and innovative undertaking, it's also a moment to thank you. On behalf of Tacoma Housing Authority's Board of Commissioners, its staff, we are very grateful. Thank you.